what can we say about it? Well, I'm going to, until some more people join, I'm going to try and fill some time. Now, I will do some videos about this. We've been very angry at our brokers. I will do a specific video about this subject, but the fact is that it tends to be a case that the brokers all follow Robinhood. When Robinhood brought out free trading, they followed them, and we thought when Robinhood was going to bring out cheaper margin, the others would follow. But now they have a PR nightmare, and so we're not sure if they would. The thing is that with Robinhood, we have the fact that they have their biggest customer is their biggest customer is one of the major hedge funds, is the umbrella corporation of the major hedge funds. The umbrella corporation bailed it out for 2.75 billion, and I wouldn't be surprised if they said Robinhood sought it. I have heard that they actually shorted more of GME before saying to them sort it, which is why it went down to 120% and then went up to 143%, and then on a day went back down to 130% as a way for them to recoup some of their money. Now, we have heard lots of rumours. Apparently the SEC is investigating it. I think the SEC had the power to jump in straight away. There was enough evidence there for market manipulation. If the SEC wasn't one of the organisations that behind closed doors said to them, right, this is what you've got to do, then all they had to do was contact the broker and ask them why they're doing it. And I'm surprised they weren't quicker. However, as we know, doesn't matter whether it's Democrats or Republicans in the House, they don't like to get too political. Fact is that the way it is these hedge funds bring billions into the economy, and they're going to let them get away with it. But as I said, as long as we can bring the machine to a halt for a minute and make them think twice about shorting another stock, we will have won. But the other side of it is that they will have cashed in a lot of their chips with this, like Citadel requesting Robinhood, saying to Robinhood, you're going to lose a contract if you don't do something. You know, hedge funds going to their parent company to be bailed out. They're not going to keep bailing them out. Now, with case of Melvin, well, he's considered like a star purely because he has hit over 20% year-on-year returns. To us, it's nothing, but considering this last year. But when you consider like some of the legends don't hit 19%, some of the best performers don't hit 19%, then you know they want to protect, they want to keep that person. However, the way they're going about it, people are distracted by all of this as well, and yes, I'm in GME, but people need to look at what happens afterwards and need to look at the rest of the market. As I said, I've said in the past in my series, what if a crash, what can cause it, and they are hypothetical episodes because someone said to me what could cause another crash, and you need to see that the Dow Jones was down 620 points on Friday, and the Dow Industrial Average was down 1100 points on the week. No one has been talking about that, and you need to think Apple's earnings, Facebook earnings, all of them are amazing. Apple hit it out of the park, and Apple's isn't like Facebook's, where Facebook's going to have a bad quarter next quarter because of all the people migrating from WhatsApp to Signal and the like, and people are seeing it as a way to cancel their leave Facebook, because if they're leaving WhatsApp, they may as well leave Facebook. You're with Apple, you're getting people buying Apple products, they're progressing, and some of people are just waiting for more Apple products to come down that they can afford, so they can buy the 5G. Now, I made a joke on Discord before about how my friend of mine asked Siri which Apple product he could afford. She replied, apple juice. However, thing is, that we've had this where big tech before had blowout earnings, but because their guidance wasn't good enough, they didn't rise. However, with these, the guidance was good, the earnings was good, and most of them fell, and one or two that did rise didn't rise enough, only rose 5%. Now we need to look at that. I believe the hedge funds are selling out of their overperforming positions. I said this last week, and I believe they will be selling out of their overperforming positions bit by bit so as not to panic the market, and going into SPAC stocks, which give huge returns and is easy to predict. Now, well, not easy for the likes of us, but for them and their team, it's easy to predict. Now, they can't go into spec stocks because of other people's money. They have to justify it still, and the likes of Apple, Facebook, Amazon aren't going to give the returns they need to recover from this. Now, we need to think long term. If we have heavy position in these stocks, I'm not telling you to sell them. I'm just saying you need to think, are you too heavy in any of the tech sectors? Do you need to trim any of them? Do you have a lot of margin? And this is the reason why Robinhood sold people's GME, because they had too much margin. Basically what happened was the clearing houses, and it wasn't just Robinhood, clearing houses, which was usually happy with 2.8% deposit, they suddenly said to the brokers, we now need 100% deposit because there's too much trading in speculative stocks, and if this company goes bankrupt, then you're going to be left holding the bag, which could make you go bankrupt, and then it could mean that we end up without the money that we've paid out, purely because with this essential securities deposit, which actually processes all these transactions, they there is a 2-day holding period for the money, even though it's instant for us. For them, and the brokerage is a 2-day holding period. That's why when someone buys your shares, it will take a couple of days before you can withdraw the money to your account. But the thing is, there's lots of rumours floating around how the press secretary Jen has sacked her brother because he worked at Citadel, how Treasury Secretary Jenna has been given millions to speak at Citadel. I don't know whether they're true or not. The only thing I do know is that using the excuse to protect people is not a good enough reason. Purely because these are companies that allow CFDs to be traded on their site. CFDs are something that the people lose 80%. People who trade them lose 80% of their money. And they don't seem to care when people when like me or you, retail traders, are losing their money in the stocks. They only care when the hedge funds are losing their money. They don't care when the hedge funds are shorting 140% of a stock. They only care when it means they're going to lose. Please hit the like button, get this out to as many people as possible. Don't forget to ask any questions. Now, yes, TBD, this is live. Good to see you again. And the thing is, they went to High Dividend Bloodhound. Good to see you again. I've started a weekly live session. I'm fairly new to it. I'm not as experienced as Dividend Bloodhound. If you haven't checked out his channel, it's a great channel. Now, the thing is, they then went on to put 50 more companies on there. Now, if you look at them, if you look at those companies, then it's laughable. Now, the thing is that Wkhs, okay, first off, the first 15 companies heavily shorted, so you could twig that, understandable. You could even think the ones, there was a couple there that wasn't heavily shorted, but they were OTC stocks. Now, the thing is, then they started with General Motors, Starbucks, a lot of others. Now, it seems to me like Robinhood is in financial difficulty. It had to raise recently $1 billion, and that was on Thursday. It raised $1 billion. I don't know if anyone knew that or not, but Thursday they had to raise $1 billion because they're in trouble. Now it makes me think that they're using this thing with the essential securities deposit, bringing in this change from 2.8% deposit to 100% to actually put a list of companies that they know their biggest customer either have a short position in or are planning to have a short position in, and are using it to their benefit. Because otherwise, why is no one else putting it on there? And as I said, there was whether or not anything will come of the legal challenge, I don't know. I think they will use that as a defence about the ESD. However, it won't, and the fact that all the other brokers did it. However, what will knock down that defence is the fact that they started putting other companies on there that no one else is. I myself in the UK have gone and lodged a formal complaint with 3 brokers, and I will be taking that complaint to the Financial Ombudsman. And TBD, we was just talking about that, how I think people are not looking at the rest of the market with GameStop. I will go over it briefly. Basically, the Dow was down 620 points. The industrial average was down 1,100 points over the week. And when Apple, I don't know if you knew about Apple's earnings, was 168 versus 141 per share, earnings per share, and beat revenue by $8 billion. And the iPhone sales were up 17% in 3 months. Everything was up across the board, but Apple was down. Microsoft, similar thing. It went up after hours, but then came back down. Facebook, done incredibly well. It's down. You see that Tesla down. Tesla, it was only one thing it didn't beat on, where it was given $1 a share, hit 86 cents a share, which it had never hit before, and down. Skyworks Solution did its best ever, and it's where it should have hit like 20-25% up on that, it's only up 5%, and I expect that to come back again. I was saying how these hedge funds who have to recover from this, I think they're pulling their money out of the overperforming, slow performing stocks such as the tech sector, which has run for them this last year, and I think they will be putting them into SPAC stocks. SPAC stocks run, and they're easier to predict. You look at the likes of IPOF. Now, it's less than $14 a share. It's $14 a share. You look at Churchill Capital, how cheap that is at the moment. It's crazy, really, when you know what's going to happen. Michael Bartlett, it's good to see you, man. I do think it will, and I think it could cause a crash, or at least a correction. And I think this is just the start of it. I think this with Apple and all that is one institution, because it started last week on Thursday, Friday. I think there's plenty of institutions still in, hoping to get out of this unscathed, and come Monday and next week, when they realise they can't, because you saw from GameStop's action last week, they were putting in massive bid orders, and they were removing them when they weren't getting filled, and they were trying to limit their losses, and when they couldn't, they were removing them, so they didn't end up having to pay like $500, $1,000 a share. They wanted to pay $3.99 and not a penny more. And I think what will happen is it will get to a stage where they're forced to pay it, and then they will they will end up doing it. And what will happen is, you've got to remember, look how much companies like Apple has run. Look how much Facebook has run. I picked Facebook up at $150 a share last year. Look how much Tesla has run. And even Elon has said, Tesla has a 2% margin. We all know the potential of Tesla. We all know what Tesla can do. But as I said, Lucid is the only one, in my opinion, that I think is a competitor to Tesla in the car option. When it comes to the rest of it, they aren't. There isn't one, because they just have such a moat in it. But the thing is that Churchill Capital is supposed to be merging with Lucid. Look how low they are compared to Tesla. So these hedge funds will be thinking, hold on, we've earned this much on Tesla. We'll sell 50% of our Tesla stock. We'll still have a finger in the pie if it does carry on shooting up, and we'll put that money into Lucid, into Churchill Capital. When that jumps up, we'll remove it. We'll have recovered our losses, and we'll go around saying, "Oh no, we weren't part of the loss of the GameStop. Look at our profits." And I think in the meantime, anyone who's got margin, anyone who's got debt, anyone who is overextended in the market will suffer. That's why I've been saying for the past month or two to do a couple of things. Make sure you've got cash on hand. Gold and silver is at a good rate at the moment. I think gold and silver is at a discount. Silver is being heavily shorted as well. Do you know, when I went to Interactive Brokers Thursday pre-market and Friday pre-market, they wouldn't let me buy SLV, which is silver. I could only buy options. So I picked up a couple of contracts in the money so I could exercise them. It's the only way to do it. But with Wkhs, a friend of mine in America, as I've been buying up Wkhs when they put them on the list. A friend of mine in America, he just opened up 4 more brokerages so he could buy more shares. And what happens though when they restrict someone with something? What happened with prohibition? People want it more. You know, this could be the best thing that happens to those stocks, purely because Wkhs, Biden has done everything but say the name Wkhs. He said, we want things that are made in America. We're going to replace our fleet with all electric. The only all electric bidder for the USPS contract that is made in America is Wkhs. And by the way, for those who say, but Romeo gets some of their stuff from China, even though they assemble it in America, you have the Lordstown Motors Endurance. They have just signed a contract with LG Chem, which is same one that does GM, which is a site just the other side of Lordstown, and the Endurance is the same skateboard as the Wkhs truck. It is just the body on top of it, the shell on top of it. And Wkhs are bringing out another van, another lorry. Sorry, I haven't got it on here at the moment, but I will put it in another video. It does look nice. But anyway, if anyone has any questions, do drop them in the chat. I do like these things. I mean, I've also become a mod for TC Burner Market. And don't forget to check out Savvy Money Show. But the thing is, I am just so angry with the way the whole of financial institutions have gone about this. You know, but the one I'm angry with most of all are the government, not Democratic or Republican, but the ones in charge of the governments, purely because We've seen it before. When the people in power that want, when the banks need a bailout, when the city needs a bailout, they get it instantaneously. When the people are starving in the streets and they need stimulus bill, when they need $600, it's all right to give billions to the banks who are earning billions. It's all right to give billions to the city who have billions stored away offshore. But when the people need $600, take 6 months. Now, as I said, I'm in the UK, I do not get any stimulus, but I do follow what goes on. When people are allowed to go and put their last penny on a lottery ticket, they can put their last life savings, last $100 in a casino, that's fine. But you're not allowed to invest or open an investment account in America unless you have over $25,000. That to me seems wrong. All of it, the whole system seems wrong. The fact that now, even from the top downwards, they're all blaming Wall Street bets, they're blaming the retail traders because they found a loophole, because they won. You think this hasn't been tried before? It's been tried lots of times. First time it was tried was actually by a stockbroker who found out that a lot of his city friends was overshorting the company. Definitely TPD. Thank you for joining in. And you know what happened to him when he was successful? And I'm talking decades and decades ago, decades before I was born. After he was successful, before he got a chance to get his money, they revamped the whole financial institution, so he couldn't be successful. And that's the way they work it. They do not want the small person to be successful. I've said that anyone who was in GameStop from the start, then this would have been a millionaire maker for them, whether it's a hedge fund or retail trader. Because if you put the hedge funds who were billionaires will have been made millionaires instead, and the retail traders who would have put 5 to 50,000 on in will have been made millionaires. And it was a leveler for both of them. And everyone around the world is glad, because you're getting people in Germany, in Korea, in China, everywhere wanting to be a part of this, because it's a historic moment. It's a moment that will be taught about, a moment in history that will be taught about in financial classes of how not to short a stock. And they keep coming out about what the worries will be, how what they will do to restrict our trading permissions. But they have to have a reason to do that. They can't exactly restrict our trading permissions and not restrict theirs. They already have an advantage over us. They have level 3 trading. We only have level 2. And in the UK, we have less than that. The only way we can, in the UK, we can trade options is with interactive brokers. And then we do not have the same sort of platforms as you have in the US with Webull and Robinhood and all the others. it's more restricted, again, for our own safety. You know, the thing is, another way to put it is, I did a deep dive into Nicola last year when it was VTIQ, and I noticed Nicola was a scam. I didn't notice until I'd done my second deep dive, but by then I put it on my channel, and after then I had people criticising me, telling me I'm losing out, and I've got, fine, that's your decision, because the fact is, it's your money, it's your decision, and that's why it should be with brokers. Now, brokers do not have a right to tell you what you can buy or sell. They do have a right to advise you, but you are not calling up the broker and saying, I want to buy this, what do you think? Because they have priced those type of brokers out of our price point, and they've brought new ones in, like the online ones, where we can do it at a touch of a button a lot cheaper. Now, if we'd done that, they might say, oh, GameStop's a bit, oh no, I wouldn't touch that. But the thing is that they are not financial advisors. They are app operators. They are website developers, and they are go-betweens for the stockbrokers. They do not have the right to tell us what we can buy and sell. Because of that, that is where they're on sticky ground. Now, I believe, if I'm correct, that a lot of the Robinhood employees were up in arms over it, and Robinhood's response was to give them a $40 DoorDash voucher. But anyway, and another short squeeze that should be happening on Monday is CTRM. Now, it's a company that's losing money. I've heard about it before. The thing is, the contracts are due Monday, so I don't know whether or not it's actually going to squeeze, or if they're just going to fill it Monday morning because they're so afraid of what's going on. I also have a company called HCMC, which isn't a short squeeze, but they're in a legal battle with a well-known cigarette provider, and what over IP infringement, and what they do is apparently it's going well, and what they've done is hired a top law firm, and if they're successful, the share price will go up. They've, you know, they are pretty good odds to win it. But another one for Monday that I like is MITI. They are the ones who sold Minute Clinic to CVS, and they are bringing out their luxury clinics. I spoke about them in my videos before, and on Monday they should be opening their first of 50 luxury clinics. Now, there should be some PR to lift the stock, hopefully. Anyway, now these are OTC companies, so you will need OTC, an OTC broker. I also like TSMP, who are merging with Humble. The guy in charge is like the Elon Musk blockchain. They're going into 20 or 40 countries. The only one they're not going into, apparently, is America, because the Treasury Secretary, new Treasury Secretary, has said about new regulations, and with them being such a small company, they want to avoid all these new regulations, and I think it will do well. But of course, if there's anything you want me to look into, I'm also looking at ITP. Now, they have automated packaging. As well as that, they do some of the cheapest medical masks. Now, there are new legislations coming out in America about masks, and in Europe, apparently, they're bringing out new legislations with masks. Well, they're looking to anyway. It hasn't passed yet, so the idea is to get in before it's passed. This is a penny stock, obviously, so there's a huge risk with it. But the thing is, it's a mask play, and when you consider Europe talking about banning cloth masks for medical masks, then it could be a good play. On top of that, I think with Biden in charge, IEA is a good one. It's an infrastructure one, and it's one that can really do well under him. Of course, I'm going to say Wkhs, because even with the restrictions on Robinhood, but I like IEA and DPW, and I think Fusion as well, who are supposed to be going with Moneyline. Now, Moneyline are like a little Sophie, a smaller version of Sophie, but I would go with Fusion. No, I love the team as well. I would go with Fusion. Run when they announce it and it runs up. Hopefully, it'll run to the same amount as IPOE, and then I can switch some of the money into IPOE. Thing about IEA, which I spoke about before, is it's under $20 a share. The fair value from 100% of its analysts say is fair value, not price target. Fair value is $50 a share, and this was before Biden got in. And it's a green infrastructure play. Anyway, unless there's anything else, I will leave it there. I did say I would say why I'm doing all this. I come up as Restream on here because I'm using Restream software. Now, I played with my kid last year doing the channel. He's still my executive producer. Every subscriber I get, I give him money into his account, and that's still the same thing. Help my kid earn some money from me, make me a bit poorer. Subscribe, hit like button, and the my other kid, my daughter, she was born 27 weeks, very premature. Now, the hospital was amazing with her, but after she left, she had a few problems. If my wife didn't have her work's medical insurance, she would have died. And I vowed then that if I vowed then that I would make sure I would always be in a financial position to look after my kids. And so that's why I do this, and that's why I put so much time and effort into all of this. Not providing for my future, providing for their future, and being able to pay for them so that if anything crops up, they're protected. Anyway, as no more questions have come up, I think I'll stop it there. I've been online for almost an hour. Don't forget to check out my channel. I'll be back on tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Stay safe. Stay